So many of you might know me from campaign running for supervisor elections, Kathy Chamberlain. God bless her. She is probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met out there. And after that failed campaign, started to step back and say, okay, what's going on here? What's happening in our political scene, and why are we all struggling at the REC level? And it has to do with being under the thumbscrew of the leadership. And when you hear some of what's been going on the past couple of years with our state legislature, I think in this last session they were trying to pass a bill that the RPOF would dictate who could actually run as a Republican. You know, that very thing that defines our free republic is the ability for any citizen to step up and say, I want to be that public servant. Who has the right to say that you're not and you can't? You got to go run as an independent, you're a nobody. That's a problem. And so it is a leadership problem. So with that, I watched our REC collapse. We had already set up to do endorsements. They were going to have endorsements in my race and a number of other commission races. Our chairman unfortunately passed away right in the middle of an election cycle, weeks before endorsement. We had a gentleman who we thought was a good, honest, true Republican, and unfortunately, just days before the whole process, nixed the entire endorsement process, convoluted it, and then made it about money. We're going to lose the RPOF's money if we endorse. So in a race where I was 2 votes short of an endorsement from the Republican Party because it was about money. Well, I'm here to say we got to do things a little different, which spurred me to say, hey, we need a new chairman. Here I am. So, there is hope for your RECs. So your REC really needs that ground game with people working behind the scenes, stacking the deck. And it's a long term, it's years. We ultimately ended up with a board that we work very well together. I'm not going to call out one of our members that's here. Don't want to put him in exile with the RPOF. But nonetheless, it's about that bold leadership working together to implement strategies to ensure that you get that change that your community wants and needs. So how often we see these races? Everybody wants change. They want a different leader. They see the overdevelopment. Our county's being so overdeveloped right now, we don't have enough sewer or water service, let alone anything else, or the roads to handle it. And our current leadership saying, pave it, pave it, pave it, build houses. Just another 5,000 homes right over there. It's no big deal. Ignore all those studies. So that's when you really look at that leadership change. And if you want to effectuate that change, we all know you've got to have that Republican tag in the state of Florida, which is why so many on the left switch their party, hang out for a year or two. Like Bob said, they get the PAC money, and there they are. They're in those leadership roles, which is exactly why they tried to pass the bill last year or this last session to limit who can run. So our RECs really need to be effective at the local level, and it's not just money. So one of the things when I came in, I said we've got to do things a little bit different. One, the way our last chairman was able to throw the wrench in the entire works, our committees are ad hoc. I'm just going to dissolve the committees. You guys have nothing to do. I'm the chairman, I can do whatever I want, and you're all out of luck, have a nice day. So the first order of business was to make every one of our committees a standing committee, so it's the entire group that makes that decision. One person can no longer derail it, because how often do we see a person gets in and takes over authority? And so that was the first thing. So if you're going to look at changing your RECs, you've got to make those kind of significant changes to take the power back to the body. Second is quit beholden to the RPOF. Use their rules, use their power against them. One, fundraisers. I don't know how many REC members we have here today. You show of hands. We've got a few. I know they're getting a bad rap these days. You end up doing a single fundraiser in the year. You bank everything you do on that one big fundraiser. And it's always the same crowd of folks showing up to that fundraiser. The same people you know you've got on your side, you know they're working for you. We look at it different and do micro fundraisers. They're little fun events. If you want to throw up my, go to the next slide then. We've actually got some advertisements. So we're doing advertisements for our REC where we're reaching out to businesses. Hey, at any of our events, anything we do, throw us a couple of bucks. We'll put an advertiser up for you. We'll put it on our webpage. You're a supporter. That starts to generate revenue. But it also, when folks are out looking at these companies and see that we're partnered there, you start to develop that relationship with your community. Throw another one up for me here. Another slide. Next one. Another slide. There we go. Keep going. Give me a couple of the, one more. So that's the other part of doing this is you have all your clubs. And when you have that, like Kathy Chamberlain talked about, that breakdown of how the RPOF is set up with your local executive committees, you also have clubs. That's really your outreach portion. We're working directly with all of our clubs, whether it be the Republican Club of Charlotte County, the Charlotte DeSoto Club. It is about building that relationship. You want to give me the next one? So this is our DeSoto Club. So they are actually a huge supporter of us. They donate to our REC, but they also help recruit. Want to give me another one? Cool Caps. I think Kathy Bateman's back here. So she also runs the Trump Club, but she also runs a very successful business. And I see so many of the Make America Great Again hats in here. A percentage of all those sales end up coming to us. She helps us with the donations. But we've also done some out of the ordinary fundraisers. And that's where the public interest comes in. We recently had a wine glass painting. You get so many people that want to do something artsy. We've got a big retirement community down there in Charlotte County, which seems to be a good portion of Florida. So if you mix a little alcohol and a little bit of fun, you end up with a fundraiser. Well, you're not making a ton of money. Those folks that ended up at that fundraiser that normally would not have been there ended up joining our executive committee. They're now boots on the ground for our campaign, for grassroots candidates. It's about recruitment, not just the money. So that micro fundraiser just became a force multiplier because you're not just generating the revenue, but you're generating the people. Along with that, we've had USO Dance is coming up. We're recognizing our veterans community. So with those veterans, and any veterans in here, can I just stand up quick or put your hand up? God bless those veterans. You all put your lives on the line, gave to our country so that we can have the free republic we have. And we've got to recognize that. So we're doing an annual USO Dance where we recognize 10 veterans from our community, from each war theater, each time period, so that we've got a representation from our older crowd right down to our most recent, whether it be Gulf War, Afghan War. We've got people represented there, and they see we're engaged. The amount of people that are now interested in participating in that, again, that's boots on the ground coming in to serve us, and they see that we're engaged with the community. If the veterans see that we're engaged, do you think we're going to encounter a little bit more veteran vote? Tomorrow, we've got a sock hop. It's a 50, 60 dance. It's a little bit of fun. Probably make a few $100, maybe $1,000. But the amount of folks that are going to show up to that and have a good time, and they're going to see we're engaged, we're having fun. So it's truly about engaging with folks, getting those boots on the ground. But all this is not for, it's all for naught if you do not have the boldness to step forward. Like Raj said, I just pretty much told the RPOF, nope, I'm the chairman for my committee. And that's for each one of you. And I know there's so many people saying, the RECs, get involved. Take it over. Be the person to make that change. You know, my wife's always told me, be the change you want to see. Yeah. How can I sit and complain about what's happening out here? How can I sit and complain about what's happening in the Republican Party if I'm not willing to stand up and take the proverbial bullet? So, many of you know I ran against Evan Power in January, and folks said, oh, that's political suicide. You're crazy. Let's spread those numbers a little bit. I'm a nobody. He had no clue who I was. I just took the seat a couple of weeks before. 17% of the vote in the room. There were a number of people that were not allowed to vote. That all combined with those that abstained or could not vote was nearly 30%. There's a want for change, and I will tell you, most of the folks in Orlando during that RPOF quarterly, they said, we support you, but we're afraid to vote for you because we're scared of reprisals. So I keep questioning folks because I have been on a little bit of a campaign against Evan Power. He's our chairman. But I question the fact, how did the Republican Party end up with a lobbyist as our chairman? Something that our party is usually staunchly against because of the political and the financial ramifications, because it's usually about money, a developer. That's where you all come in again. Get involved, be bold. You've got to get in there to change those RECs, and if you don't, they're going to continue to do what they're doing. And we're on the outside. So I've been a member of the Liberty Caucus, Defend Florida, pretty much every group that is out there, and we're always chipping at it. Get inside. Be bold and get inside and change it from within. So that's my call to you all. Get inside, make the change, micro fundraise. No longer rely on the RPOF for your money. In that last election cycle, when our endorsements were about money, once we came to the November election and we had two candidates with some folks running against them that you know aren't going to win, we gave away $12,000 to those candidates who were sitting with hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank. That kind of stuff has to change. That $12,000 could have gone to a primary, to primary out an establishment character and make the difference in that community. Because in Florida, let's face it, our elections happen in August. And that is why it is so important to be prepared to endorse in August. And be prepared with the boots on the ground. It's about people, it's sheer numbers. And you looked at the Bob White's numbers for the candidates that were there. They outspent you. How many to one? 8 to 1. You look at what it cost them for each vote and what they received. That's pretty sad when you look at it, because the guy with the least amount of money fared out just as well, because you had boots on the ground. So that's I think a real telltale thing. So when you look at what's going on in our RECs, and I know I'm off track with the financing, with the microfunding, and that's where sitting down and having the breakout sessions I think is good. So to lay out that plan for the microfunding, it is really about making the change in the RECs, getting your voice heard out there, tipping the balance on leadership, getting involved with people like Kathy Chamberlain, and then being at events like this, working with Raj, but sharing the information. And it's about exposing those that are running our communities for what they are doing. How many of you live here in a community that's overdeveloped? Seems to be a common theme across Florida. I think they just took the Alico farm on the East Coast, and they're doing, I think it's what, 70,000 homes on the East Coast. That's a substantial amount of farmland that has just been taken away from Florida's pristine wilderness and from Florida's farmers, all for more homes. So it is up to all of you to make the change, but there are ways to do it. And one, get involved locally, build the numbers, get in your REC, put fight in your REC, and unify. So if we can unify, we can kick out the rhinos that are running the party, and we all unite under one umbrella. It's going to make a difference. So
Again, I don't know what more I can tell you to get involved, but advertise, advertise, advertise. Stand up to leadership. Question everything. That's why we fight as a party, because we're critical thinkers. We're not lemmings. So, again, come over to the breakout session, talk about some of these ideas. I've actually got some of my folks with me here today that have been very instrumental in pulling some of these events together. And it's always a good time, and it's great for the community. So keep up the good work that all of you are doing. Stay involved. And Raj is gone.
Thank you, Dave.